Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Beekeeper Tarot. My name is Alan. Hello. Hello. It's been a couple of days. I've been working. So sometimes I do these sleepover shifts where I start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I work until 10. And then technically I sleep over till 6. Then I work until 8. Shift work. Don't you love it? And because I have a background of nursing, I have no body clock anyway. So I need to get like some of this light changing makeup for my eyes, something like that. Once again, guys, before I go on any further, I would just like to say thank you for the subscriptions and the likes and the comments and the love that you guys show me all the time. It does mean a lot to me. It stays with me. It resonates with me. So kudos, guys. Thank you very much. So yeah, I've got lots of stuff to talk to you about. But the first thing I want to address, and just for this video, I'm not actually going to be doing cards on this video. I just want to talk very humbly about trans people, and I want to talk very humbly and respectfully about the situation that happened in Minneapolis. So I've got some notes here, okay? Um, and as I say, this is from my heart. This is very humbling. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but something within me says I just need to get this out. So um, you can switch off if you want, but this is coming from a very genuine place. So I'm just going to say it, okay? So first and foremost, I want to like obviously, well, not obviously, but I want to extend my condolences to the people in the church in Minneapolis and to the two children that were killed. And there was 14 children and three elderly pensioners were wounded. So first off, my condolences to those people and to that situation. Um, as horrible as it is, and as horrible as gun violence is, wherever it happens in the world, wherever it happens in the world, it's unacceptable and it's tragic. And this situation is, it's like every situation with gun violence, like nobody wins. There's not a winner. And um, I better kick off by saying entertainment only YouTube. And so when you have these people like Shady and the Yeti saying, oh, we just need to pray. Well, no, you need to actually get off us and do something about it, is what you need to do. Um, you know, it, and I actually saw something on one of my on my Instagram feeds where Bride of Chucky was sticking up for. I think no, who was it? Jan, one of the readers, so one of the CNN readers who used to be the press secretary for the White House was criticizing the responses, saying, we need to do more than pray. Actually, I saw that. Yeah, that was her. And then Bride of Chucky was criticizing her for that. I only read the caption. I couldn't bear to stomach looking at her. So, yeah, so that just the face is enough for me, right? Anyway, once again, YouTube entertainment only, yeah. So, so having said that, just to reiterate, any situation where there's any gun violence, wherever it is in the world, it's tragic. Okay, so that's first and foremost, and my sympathies and my empathy goes out to everybody that will be affected by this and to the ongoing trauma and to the trauma that's currently happening in the USA, which this is just one small part of that that's overflowing to the rest of the world, and we're all feeling it. But this is why I want to talk about it. Now, I want to talk about some statistics here. So in the USA, approximately 3 million people, or 2.8 million people, identify as transgender. That is 1% of the population. So this 1% of the population, including the LGBTQ plus people, are just being victimized by this regime. And I don't know the full, I don't know what was happening in this person's mind. Her name was Robin Westman. She was 23 and she changed her name from Robert to Robin in 2020 when she was 20 years old. Now, I'm treading very lightly here with my words because I don't know what her mental health was. I don't know like what was happening in her head. I don't want to read on that because I'm just getting a strong pull just to talk about it. I'm getting a very strong feeling. Alan, don't go there with reading, so I'm going to respect that. So I don't know what specifically was happening with her. But the truth is, this will further marginalized trans people in the USA and transgender people in the world. Now, I did a big rave about transgender people, I guess maybe 6 months ago. So you can actually look back into my videos, and I did a big rave about transgender people, which I'll try not to repeat here. But here's the thing, right? A person that's transgender, like, okay, I'm a guy, right? I'm a guy. I have male anatomy. I'm happy being a guy. I'm happy with what I've got. I'm happy with who I am as a male, as a guy. I would imagine, and I'm also very happy and at peace with being a gay man as well. I'm just going to put that out there. No issues with that at all. Though I had to work through that, but no issues with that at all. So once again, you entertainment on YouTube. But I just want to say, could you imagine what it would feel like to actually have your anatomy, your sexual anatomy, and think that you should have a different gender? Like, and actually to have boy bits and to think that you should have girl bits. And I'm just being very gentle in my phrasing here. Like to actually think, hey, I was born a man, but really I feel like I'm in the wrong body. I should be a girl. Like just the ultimate in internal personal conflict that must be on top of everything else, on top of all the xenophobia, I'll just call it that, that transgender people feel all over the world. Just, not even going there with that. So I don't know how much of that affected what this person did. But, and as I said before, it's a situation where no one's going to win. Now, I was studying a couple of years ago, I was doing an online course, and I was talking to somebody in one of my classes that was saying that uh, I think it was his nephew, she was transgender, and she went from being a boy to a girl. And the person in my class who I was talking to was saying that, well, he'll always refer to her as her boy name. And I kind of had to explain to him. I said, well, it might just be a name for you, but for her, it's an identity, you know. And as she was transitioning from being a male to a female, so if he's gone from being a he to a she, like with the surgery and everything else, because he felt that he should be a girl, he felt that he should have female anatomy, right? And then this person is still calling him a he and referring him to his male name. And I don't think that this person was being cruel. I just think he was ignorant. I don't think he got it that for for this person, it like I said, for this person, it's not just about a name, it's about identity. And so we had that conversation, and I said it very gently to him. And I said, basically, well, if you want to have a relationship with your niece, you might want to start calling her by the name that she's changed herself into, because I don't know your niece, but I feel that For whatever reason, she felt that she wanted to transition into being a female, and you're pulling her back to the place that she wanted to escape from by calling her by her male name. So we had that conversation, and I was very respectful and very mindful. And in all honesty, the reason that I'm probably exposed to that because I've done a lot of work with Mardi Gras, and I've had a lot of dealings with the LGBTQ plus community in Sydney, and I've done lots of stuff. And so I've been quite exposed to that, and to me, it's fine. I mean, people are people. I mean, who cares, If you're going to judge a person, judge them on what they do, not on who they are, right? Anyway, enough about that. I wanted to talk about gun violence in the States. And having said that, I've got to say as well, and I'm talking specifically here about things like mass shootings and everything else. Now, I need to very respectfully say that there are so many things in my country, in Australia, that we get wrong. There are so many things I'm not proud of, especially the way that we've treated our Aboriginal, our Indigenous people. And I know Lena has spoken about the voice. We had this referendum a couple of years ago and we voted no. And what that was about, it was about whether we should let the Australian Aboriginal Indigenous people have a voice in our parliament, an official voice in our federal parliament. And we're so racist that we said no. And we're so xenophobic that we said no. So I'm saying this, but I'm also being very mindful and very respectful that there are things about my country that need work on, like every country needs work on. So I just wanted to put that in there because, like I said, I'm coming from a very humble place when I say this. Okay. So I had a look at the statistics with this. And so when it comes to mass shootings in the USA, and once again, YouTube entertainment only, but a tarot reader, but I'm being very honest with you, okay? And this is not easy to talk about, but I feel that I need to talk about it. So, mass shootings in the USA, white people, 84%, black people, 26%, Latinos, 12, Asians, 10. So, without opening up another Pandora's box here, most people that are carrying out these acts are white people. They're not black people or Latino or Asian, they're white people. Now, statistically, I didn't get a exact number on this, but what I read is that the number of transgender people that are going around harming others, it's very, very, very low. And like I said, only 1% of the population identify as transgender in the USA. 1% that identify. So this is 1% of people that are 13 years and older identify as transgender people in the USA. So I'm just saying that to get some perspective on that. Now, I want to very, very, very humbly talk about a situation that happened in Australia. So I have a map here. So this is Australia. Hang on. That is Australia. Now, down the bottom there, that's an island called Tasmania. So Sydney, so I'm here. Lena's down there in Melbourne, and that's Tasmania, okay? So, yeah, that's Tasmania. Now, there was a place called Port Arthur, which is round about there somewhere. I know that's not coming on clearly with the thing. So anyway, so that's a very glary map of Australia. Now, we had a mass shooting in Australia in a place called Port Arthur. It was on the 28th of April, 1996, and it was by this guy called Martin Bryant. Now, he killed 35 people and he injured 23 people. So the massacre occurred at a place called Port Arthur, which was like an odd relic with an old penal colony relic, I think, something like that. Anyway, so what happened was that the Australian state and territory governments imposed extensive restrictions on all firearms, including semi-automatic and repeating shotguns that can hold more than 5 shots. And then uh, there was a gun amnesty. So this allowed people, and this happened from October 1996 to September 1997. So this April, May, June, so about 6 months. So this was roughly about 6 months after this massacre in Port Arthur. The federal government, a guy by the name of John Howard, who I really didn't like John Howard. I did not like his policies, but I do respect, I will give him respect for this. I've got to be fair. I couldn't handle him politically, but he did a lot of things that just went against my grain. But I think he did the right thing here. So what happened is that we had a gun amnesty. So basically, um, out of all the firearms that were now branded as illegal or restricted, or if anybody had any gun, any if anybody had any old guns that they wanted to hand in, there was an amnesty. You could, and you got paid for it. So here and I remember there'd be drop off points all over the country where people could just drop off their guns and get money for them. So over 600,000 firearms were collected and destroyed, and it cost the government $304 million to do that. And like I said, we still have shootings every now and then in Australia. We tend to have more stabbings, I guess, than anything else, but I actually don't know anybody that owns a gun. It's a very different culture here. So I'll leave it there. Yeah, I'll leave it there. So I just wanted to say that, and just put it out there, and in as much as I know that people in this community there, we're all light bearers and we're all, we're open-minded and I'm preaching to the choir here. But the thing that concerns me about this is that now transgender people the thing that concerns me is about it's foremost about the gun violence in the States, and like I said, gun violence anywhere. And I've actually spoken to people that will probably be watching this video. I've had conversations with people, and I remember going to Los Angeles. I was there in 2003 when I was in my early 30s. And at first I was like, oh wow, I was just shocked at people wearing their guns, like they had their gun belts on, they had their guns in their gun belts, and I just was not ready for that. 2 seconds, I just need to plug in my computer to charge. 2 seconds, guys. I'm sorry about that, guys. I took this computer to work with me last night. I was actually using it to make my notes, and I forgot to plug it in when I got home. So anyway, um, what I was saying is that apart from so I was in Los Angeles, and at first I was just like, what? It really freaked me out, like as an Australian, as someone and we just have a different culture here, and we have a different, I don't know, constitution, I guess you call it. So the whole thing with the gun ownership in the First Amendment, that it's a very strange concept for me because, and I'm not saying it's wrong or it's right. I'm just saying it's a very unusual concept for me. So I'm being really respectful. I'm trying to be very, very respectful. And this is just my opinion. And I do not have the right to express the opinions of others. I can only reflect my own opinion. So that's where this is coming from. So like I said, once again, guys, I'm being very humble. I'm very, very respectful. Okay. And so it's it freaked me out. And then I remember I flew to Vegas. And even before I got out of the airport, like got through customs or, there's gun shops, and I'm just like, what? I'm used to seeing like 7-Elevens where you can buy your biscuits and your lollies and your whatever, but there was these gun shops, and I know, I mean, I never went in there because I'm not interested in buying a gun. It's a very different concept to me. But the thing that was really interesting, and this is the conversation that I've had with some people that will be watching this video, is that after after a few weeks, I blended it out. Like it actually, I got so used to it that it didn't faze me. After about 2 or 3 weeks, I stopped paying attention to the people wearing their guns. It was that common that it became part of the environment. And that's a very interesting observation that I had. So, like I said at the very beginning of this video, like this situation, it's nobody wins, with violence. Nobody wins. And nobody wins with xenophobia or transphobia or whatever. People don't win, and I feel that, and once again, full respect and full sympathy for the victims of these crimes and all the victims of these crimes. But I wonder how this person felt. I wonder how, what was her name? I wonder how Robin felt. Like, what was she going through that drove her to doing this? Where was she going with that? And I'm not excusing what she did, but I'm wondering what was happening around that. And I hope that people can look at this in the larger picture, look at gun violence in a wider scope, trying to solve the problem. And in Australia, and I haven't done the statistics on this, but I think I can safely say that there's a relationship between gun ownership and gun violence. Maybe I can say that. Maybe I can't, but maybe I can. And I've actually watched shows where, and I know that there's a gun lobby in the USA that are clearly very, very powerful and, give a lot of money to government and things like that. But I think with this current mess, with the Yeti's administration, I think there's a lot of healing that will happen when all this is done, right? I think part of the healing of the USA and globally, we've got to sort this shit out. We've got to sort this out, and it's almost going to be like, okay, well, how do we address this? And I think it's going to take a long time to get through this, but this situation with the Yeti, it will pass. And hopefully we can resolve the issues with gun violence in the USA, and hopefully that will flow over to other areas of the world. So I offer that up very humbling, folks, like very, very, very humbling. And it's just my thoughts. But but I just wanted to say that because this is messy. This is really messy. Like all violence is messy, but I've just got a horrible feeling that this is just going to make life for transgender people in USA even more worse than what it already is, and for LGBTQ plus people worse than what it already is. So I just wanted to put that out there, guys. And so thank you once again for listening. I very deeply apologize if I've said anything offensive to anybody. It wasn't my intention. My intention was just to voice my opinion honestly and humbly and with full respect. So that's what I wanted to do. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to shut up now. All right, I'll be back soon. Okay, bye. And action.